Karatoba from Oz Family Cigars. Honestly, anything that is connected to John Huber and Ground Heads, I'm all in. I will give John Huber all the props, all the credit. Totally dig that dude. But this, I have heard people talking about this. I've been asked if I've tried this yet. So let's go to work. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that right there is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. This is the Karatoba from Oz Family Cigars. It is a Robusto coming in at a very, very healthy 5x52, which means it's 5 inches long. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. And the ring gauge is a 52. That's the diameter of the cigar or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. So a 64 ring gauge would be a full 1 inch around. This is a box press, not a hard-edged box press, but a little more defined than some others, right? Sometimes you get a little more of an oval shape. This one is a little more squared off. This is Ecuadorian Sumatra in the wrapper, Nicaraguan in the binder. The filler is Nicaraguan and Dominican right here. This came out the summer of 2025, so June of 2025. So if you're now just seeing it at your local tobacconist in your favorite humidor, that makes perfect sense to me. It could have taken a little while to get into the rotation. You could have still been dealing with other cigars, and you may have seen it once or twice, but now you're noticing it. It's beautiful with that copper and black on the band there. And a wrapper, it's got texture, not grit, is the way I would say it. A classic coloring to the wrapper as well. Fingers Malloy, you have started smoking this, the Karatoba, the Oz Karatoba Robusto. What say you as you've just lit this up?
Yeah, I just lit this up 3 minutes ago, and what I can tell you is at the light, I got a little bit of a nuttiness, some wood, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of white pepper. But that's where I'm at right now, but I just lit it, so we'll just have to see how it goes as we move through the first third of the cigar.
Give me that list again. White pepper, and what else did you get?
Nuttiness and some wood.
No. Hold on.
No? He's going in, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing what we like to call...
I think that there is... so I'm with you on the wood.
Mm-hmm.
There's cedar and a cedar spice that's happening. I'm getting a creamy undercurrent.
Okay.
That could be, maybe you could call it earthy. Maybe you could call it just a richness. I'm going to go there. You said nutty. Maybe that is a nutty cream. Now, the best way I could describe this is if you've ever had cashews and you're chewing the cashew, but you don't swallow it, you just chew the cashew. That kind of pasty flavor, and I think that is a fantastic flavor. Like, I love that. As I think about cigars, that is one of the flavors that I look for in what I would design and what I create. I think that there's something very, very good in that. Now, you can say it's cashew or it's almond, but really it's almost like how can a flavor evoke a texture that creates a warmth, which is almost like saying you're trying to develop peanut butter, but without that hard edge of the peanut butter. You're just the rest of the nutty creaminess. Right there. So that's where I'm at with this. But definitely, you've got that little bit of cedar going. That's what's giving the spice. And I can't tell you if it's a creaminess that comes from like a nutty creaminess or that's kind of like an earth richness. I'm not sure yet.
By the way, Chew the Cashew is the name of my folk album.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That is great. That is...
How do you feel about the hand feel? Because it feels good in the hand. Is it a little light to you?
It is a Robusto.
Yeah, maybe that's
right.
What it is.
So you got a 5-inch cigar here. I don't think it is particularly light. I think it feels fine. 52 to kind of top of the mark of where I like to be.
Yeah.
In any ring gauge. By the way, this is not to say don't smoke 54s or 56. We have and have had a great experience with them. Certainly the appointment by El Rey de Mundo on the Gordo, to me, it was a top 3 cigar last year for me. It was number 2 on my list of top 3 cigars. That thing is still a freaking knockout. A knockout of a smoke. So it's not that you can't go higher than a 52. It's just where we see ourselves is in that 46, 52 range. We tend to be guys who actually like the smaller ring gauges, especially Lanceros. Not everybody is like that, and that's totally fine. To each their own. You choose how you want to live in this cigar world. This is the Karatoba from Oz Family Cigars. Now, Oz has done some things that I've liked in the past. They've got some cigars as they've come back, if you will, to life over the last few years. But I have heard people say, have you tried this? And I'm curious to see what builds and what grows from this, to see what it is in this cigar that people are, that I would assume people are saying, oh, this is why they're asking.
Now, did you say this was a limited release, or is this something that people will be able to find?
This is absolutely regular.
Okay.
This is regular, right? So Oz did the Bosphorus, a cigar we reviewed a few years back that I really liked, really enjoyed. They did the Versat. We also reviewed that cigar a few years back. And now you've got this. The question, Fingers Malloy, is this in your humidor for $12?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. You need some time here. We need to get into the second, third before we really make that call. And you want to get your notebooks out, right? What did you eat today? What did you drink today? Super freezing, stupid cold in Indianapolis, Indiana, with the snow and everything else. We'll get into all of that. But you take the cigar and you break it up, right? First, third, second, third, final, third. Write down your notebook. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? All of that affecting your palate. The cold affecting your palate. It can also affect your humidor. I have an electronic humidor. I turned up the temperature of my humidor as the temperatures came down to try and make sure that everything in there was all right. I'm finding that things are starting to smoke a little bit better.
Nice.
I still don't have it all together. I don't have it all perfect in this humidor. I love it, but when the weather changes, so I am not there yet with exactly how I'm supposed to react before the weather comes, so I can be in a good spot. But get your notebooks out. What'd you eat today? What'd you drink today? The weather. And then what are the flavors you're getting out of each third of the cigar? It doesn't matter how weird it is or how base it is. Just write it down. When you try the cigar a month from now, 6 months from now, you do it again, go back and check your notes. See what stuck with you, right? What things were constant. That's your through line. That's really what you got out of the cigar, the flavors you got out of the cigar. Yeah, $12 doesn't bother me on a Robusto, right? 5 years ago, this is a $10 stick.
Yeah.
But that's the way we are now. We're not going to get into that. We're just going to move on.
Well,
Here are the prices today.
You mentioned your humidor and you up the temperature. What would you say for you? Because it's difficult for a lot of people who are listening to relate, because maybe their humidor, you can't control the temperature. But let's just stick with humidification. What percentage do you like to keep your humidify or your humidor at?
I am not a believer in 68 to 72. After much practice, I'm not a believer. But every humidor is different, not based on what some Boveda pack has, and it's nothing against Boveda, or what hygrometer you have. It's based on your humidor. And mine's at 64%.
Wow.
64% and 68 degrees is where I'm at. And I'm starting to think that maybe I have found something. We should get into this. Every humidor is different, and no one knows what is right. Let's get into that next. Keep it here. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. So I do want to get into this humidor thing, and then this story about this restaurant chain filing for bankruptcy, $1.3 billion worth of debt. This is nuts, and it's named, in places that you've been. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there, America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. There is no right answer to the question, what humidity should you keep your cigars at? Where you live, the room that it's in, the type of humidor, there's no way to make that math make any sense. There is no universal. So let's start with at least the basic. This idea that humidity should be 72%, or it should be between, 68 and 72. Not necessarily. That whole methodology, I've heard people talk about this. I think it's very, very interesting. That whole methodology of there's a standard. That's not it. I've heard people talking about this in my real life. I think I've caught other clips of cigar guys chatting about this. And I think it's very right. That it's imperative that people know that your results may vary. It's like when you take Zep bound. You may lose 100 pounds. You may still be fat. Results vary. I don't know why I went after Zep bound. Same thing is true of any of them. The Ozempic or the Jumanji, the Manjaro, right? That one right there. Any of them. I don't know. There's one more. I can't remember what it is. There's four of them. There's like four of the big ones that clearly I'm not taking.
Oh yeah, the other one, Robitussin.
That's Wegovy. That's it.
Oh, I always get those two mixed up.
Right there. I don't think I own stock in any of these things, guys. Maybe there's a fund somewhere. I'm not trying to do some subliminal advertising, and I'm not calling you fat. My point is the results vary when it comes to your humidor and what your humidity is.
My problem is to try to keep my humidity level at a proper range, I use Ozempic.
Nice.
And it doesn't seem to do the job.
Bravo. But I have an electric humidor. Mine is a full standing refrigerator. It's 6 feet tall.
Yes.
Right?
That's fair. Yeah. Because it's when I stand next to it, we look like we're the Twin Towers.
And I do have it on a 4-inch platform.
Oh.
A 3-inch platform. Yeah, I didn't put it right on the ground because it's carpeting, which is weird. I never would have done this room in carpeting ever with the cigars and everything else. But since we do so much recording in here and everything else, it made sense for sound and echo and things like that. So I had the platform built for it.
Oh, you had it built?
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I was going to say, I can't imagine that these companies actually sell platforms.
Oh, no. This is a heavy thing. That is a seriously heavy platform right there. That's going to last the nuclear winter. It's going to be just fine. But I have had incredible issues with humidity. In the summer, I'm keeping it around 62%, 63, and I'm okay. I've now moved it up to 64, and I'm playing with 64, 65. I had tried it at like 67. You might as well swim in the damn thing. It was just ridiculous. So I'm not there yet, and this allows me to play with temperature, which is a far bigger issue, I think, for people who don't have something that's electronic. They've got a humidor like you have a humidor, like I have other humidors. And it's about the room that it's in, and it's about the wall that it's next to. Because if it's near an exposed wall, or a window, it's going to change a lot of stuff.
Well, the other thing, too, when it comes to humidors like yours or like mine, I've got what looks like a little dorm refrigerator humidor.
That's right. I keep forgetting that you have one
of
those.
And I can control the temperature. I can't control the humidity. But the one thing about those humidors, like you're talking about with yours or mine, the seal is so good around the door that it does keep the humidity in there, and to the point where you could have just a little tiny bit of distilled water in a tray at the bottom of your humidor. And if you're not paying attention, you could look one day and your humidity is like at 78%.
And if cigar aficionados out there want to disagree with me, I'm all in. Other shows or other blogs, happy to talk about it. There's a real issue with the electronic humidors in that regard because the seal's too good. You want the seal. You want the lid to close and have you want to feel it close. You want to have maybe put a little pressure on it to get it to sit properly, right? To know that that's there. But you want to have a little bit of movement of the air. You do. And when you don't have any movement of the air, I'm telling you, it gets very strange. There's too much happening. You don't have a natural ebb and flow that's taking place. And even though I'm cedar lined in there, it isn't the same. It's too much. And I think that's one of the reasons why, for me, I've had this little trouble with getting to the right place.
Well, isn't there an accessory, and they aren't a sponsor of the show, but that helps with the humidification that actually has part of it, a circulating fan?
Well, you're talking about Cigar Oasis.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and I've used that before. Really interesting product where it's basically creating it's an electronic humidification system that you could put in your humidor. And it's got a fan on it and you have a little tray of water, and it's going to just keep things recirculating and moving around, which is great and fantastic. I've got that built in, not Cigar Oasis one, but that's why the reason I purchased this one. But it's about finding the right place, and that right place of heat and humidity, especially with the heat, the temperature has to do with where is it in your house? If you're keeping it in your office, is your office regulated temperature-wise over a weekend. If you're keeping it in the living room, is it against the walls and on the floor or something like that? That changes things. If you take a look at this studio right here, it's certainly when it is 25 below with the wind chill at night, nothing's going to keep up, right? The mini split doesn't keep up. Right now, it's pretty good in here.
Yeah.
But if you feel by the baseboard, holy cow, it's icy. I actually called the builder, a guy I love, and I'm like, hey, everything's great, but I know we put the foam down and everything else. We're going to have to do something. We're going to have to do some injections or something like that because it's part of the issue. So where it's placed in the house matters incredibly. And if it's too close to the heat, you've got another issue. So that's a big one. That's why the amount of humidity, if you're rocking it at 63%, so what? If the cigars smoke well for you, that's great.
Yeah.
The idea of the rules, that's the thing, that there's some hard and fast rule that's got to get knocked out of people's heads.
I think the only rule that you really need to have is make sure that you get something that you can control or have somewhat control of the humidity. And because you're making a huge investment in cigars, to then turn around and not take care of them, I think is short-sighted.
But control of the humidity, you mean electronic, and I don't think you have to go that way in the slightest.
No, I mean, but you see, some people that are, they buy the cigars and they kind of want to dabble in, the cigar lifestyle, but then they either get a really cheap humidor, or sometimes they don't even get a humidor at all, and they just leave the sticks out.
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
I mean, you gotta invest in this lifestyle if you want to be able to take care of your investment.
Yeah. And so finding something with the seal, making sure that it's cedar, all those kinds of things. Certainly you could do the travel stuff with the hard plastic and the foam if you're, just have a few in there and they're going to be gone within 3 weeks or so, right? I think you can get away with that. But definitely distilled water, and there is an investment that you have to make. So whatever works for you. I think that is just imperative. And I forget where else I've heard this talked about. I think it's a really good topic, especially in winter when people, wherever they are, have so many issues. And then there's a whole conversation about the South versus the West and temperatures and humidity. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. $1.3 billion worth of debt and forced to pay it immediately. My God, Fingers, what happened with you at the casino?
Listen. Some people say you don't hit on 20. I say hit.
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there is America's favorite amateur drinker and terrible gambler, Fingers Malloy. This story is a knockout because there's a company out there called Fat Brands. Fat Brands.
Genius.
Fat Brands and Twin Hospitality have filed Chapter 11, a $1.3 billion debt load. Holy cow, the restaurants in their portfolio. So it starts with Fatburger. You ever been to a Fatburger?
I have been to a Fatburger in Las Vegas.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I know that Fatburger tends to be a West Coast chain, does it not? I haven't seen too many Fatburgers east of the Mississippi.
No, I've never been to a Fatburger. I've seen the sign. Never been to a Fatburger.
Wait, you lived in California for like 27 years.
Never been to it. First of all, 6 years. Secondly, never been to a Fatburger. Also, never been to a Fuddruckers.
What?
I've never been to a Fuddruckers.
Oh, Fuddruckers.
Until like 3 years ago, I'd never been to a Red Lobster.
My God, you never had a Cheddar Bay biscuit.
Until 3 years ago. And you know what I said? It's a lovely biscuit. It's a lovely biscuit. So Fatburger is in this group. And so is Johnny Rockets. Now, I've been to a Johnny Rockets. Now you're like, wait a second. Exactly how far does this go? It has in the portfolio Fatburger, Johnny Rockets, Round Table Pizza, which I'm not as familiar with, Fazoli's, which I am very familiar with, and Marble Slab Creamery, which went up against Cold Stone Creamery. Marble Slab, Cold Stone.
They were like the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Yes, they were. This is huge. Absolutely huge. Now, you're saying that in addition to this, they own some other names, Fingers Malloy.
Yeah, and some of them I don't think are real. I think they just threw that in there to make themselves sound bigger than they are.
What is it that you think they are lying about as names?
There is no way on God's green earth there is a restaurant that went out of business or has financial difficulty, that's called Hot Dog on a Stick.
What? First of all, you've never been to Hot Dog on a Stick with the lemonade and everything else?
You're making that up.
Oh, and they wear the hats? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do it. Hot Dog on a Stick. And yeah, they wear the whole uniform thing and everything else.
Do they have flair?
Oh yeah.
Do they wear flair?
Oh, they got nothing but flair. The whole uniform is flair. I'm looking for images on Hot Dog on a Stick. Yeah. Here, let me. I'll post it on the video so people can see it. It's the yellow stripe, the red stripe, the white stripe, the blue stripe, everything. Yeah.
You're making the whole thing up.
I will send you a dang. Can't believe I have to do this. Sorry, guys. I have no time to talk to you. Fingers Malloy.
Well, while you do that, let me go over some of the other things on the list. First of all, I haven't heard.
Check your phone. Check your phone right there. And you will see the uniform for Hot Dog on a Stick.
This is a picture of Sydney Sweeney.
That's not a picture of Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You were looking at something else. You were looking at the wrong place.
Yeah. Wow, look at that. What does that look like?
Although if you had Sydney Sweeney in a Hot Dog on a Stick uniform, that would combine the fantasies of about 17 billion men in America.
This looks like Canadian Shriners, this hat. Am I wrong?
All right. So Hot Dog on a Stick is owned by them. Who else?
When is the last time? Listen, growing up, you were an East Coaster, so I'm sure
was.
Sizzler was big.
Oh yeah, the Sizzler.
Well, in the Midwest, Ponderosa.
Is that right?
Was huge.
You get the ribeye from Ponderosa.
I'm told.
And a baked potato.
I'm told when I was when Ponderosas were all around me, when it was raining Ponderosa in the Midwest, I was like 8. Yeah. And at the time I wasn't thinking, man, I could sure go for a ribeye right now.
You know the secret to a good baked potato when you get it in a restaurant? That it comes in the foil.
That's true. That's
how you know it's fresh.
And then there's Bonanza Steakhouse. Do you remember Bonanza Steakhouse?
No idea.
So some of this stuff, it's like, just by the name, Pretzel Maker. How does Pretzel Maker go out of business? I have a hunch they have good pretzels.
They also own Smokey Bones and Twin Peaks. Which is a Hooters knockoff. And I've never been to a Twin Peaks, and I think I've been to a Hooters twice in my life.
Oh, boy. And I'm still sad that the local Hooters here went out of business because and I've said this on several occasions on the show, just give me a bowl of their breading. I don't even need the chicken.
Did Hooters go out of business here?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The location on the north side of Indianapolis closed. And I wept.
Did you?
Yes.
So now Twin Peaks might go out of business. Hooters went out of business. I think we should open a restaurant with this same kind of vein. You know why it's called Twin Peaks, right? I don't have to. If I'm saying it's a Hooters knockoff, I don't have to explain why it's called Twin Peaks, do I?
I don't think so, but I've got a good name for a restaurant.
I think it's self-explanatory. Wait, what's the name of your restaurant?
Hoot Peaks.
Nice.
I don't think we get in trouble.
Right? As opposed to Peak Hooters, which is a very different kind of place. I think we should be a little more clandestine with our name. It's a Hooters Twin Peaks takeoff, and it's just called, huh? Huh?
Can we get the Canadian Shriner hats?
That's the uniform. That is the uniform. That and lederhosen. And it's called, huh?
Why? How? We have
$1.3 billion worth of debt, son. Now, never mind that that it might put an end to all of these companies. It might, right? This was, they filed for bankruptcy, U.S. Bankruptcy Court, Southern District of Texas. They shared this out. They're going to use Chapter 11 deleverage the balance sheets and try and keep things going and growing. So they're not going to go out. They're not going to just fall apart.
Yeah.
But the question before us is this poor management? Are these poor brands in a world that isn't interested in this kind of stuff anymore? Or is this really a economic bellwether about no one feels that they can go out even for the basic crap anymore?
Well, I will say this. You say, is it a question of mismanagement? Is it a question of people are tired of it? I don't think it could possibly be mismanagement. You look at some of the names of these places, and I'm just speculating because I've never been there. But a place like there's a place that's part of their portfolio called Buffalo Express.
Right.
Like if you want your buffalo fast,
yeah,
that's where you would go.
Right.
And now they're.
But I don't just don't want it fast. I want it more fast.
Exactly.
Right.
As opposed to part of their portfolio, Buffalo Cafe. When you want to take it easy.
Right.
You want a whole Buffalo dining experience.
And that they didn't call it Buffalo on the Go. Buffalo Go-Go.
See.
That's it. We weren't doing their marketing.
They would only be down $1.2 billion if we were in charge.
I don't know. By the way, they'd feel much better about themselves. I don't know what to think in some of these things. Sometimes a story isn't the story that you think it is, right? It's not necessarily a sign of a pure economic upheaval. But son of a gun, it's a lot of brands, and I think that's where the story is. There's either a shift in the landscape regarding where people see value, or there's a recognition that even these places are now unobtainable. The money isn't there. People don't feel comfortable spending. If they're going to spend, they're going to save up a little and spend luxury. They're not doing this anymore.
You know
what? Maybe that goes back to the first point I'm making. Yeah, it does.
All I know is at Hot Dog on a Stick, you can get funnel cake sticks.
Do you want to go open a hot dog on a stick franchise?
No, I just want to go there one time.
Fingers hot dog on a stick?
Let's go.
Road trip. Let's eat, drink, smoke.
Follow Eat, Drink, Smoke on social media. On Twitter, @Go Eat, Drink, Smoke. On Facebook, facebook.com/Eat, Drink, Smoke. And Instagram @Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast. Hey, you made it all the way through to the end of this video. We're proud of you.
You should watch more of our videos. Make sure you subscribe right there to Eat, Drink, Smoke, wherever it is you get your videos, on YouTube, on Rumble, and don't forget Instagram, Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast, where we've got the shorts and some very cool things going on.